This episode of Behind the Regs is sponsored by Plan Checker. Plan Checker is a UK-based digital platform designed to connect clients with verified building control and construction professionals, making it easier to find the right expertise at the right time for the right job. It doesn't replace building control bodies, and it doesn't carry out restricted activities or function. It simply creates clearer, more transparent access to the professionals working across the industry. If you're a professional, a client, or part of the wider built environment sector, you can learn more or sign up at planchecker.co.uk.
Welcome to today's podcast. My name's Jack, and I'm joined by my co-host Nader, Daniel Knight, and Adam Wallis. They both work in the residential surveying industry, with Adam specialising in damp investigation. If both of you would like to give a bit of a background on yourselves and how you got into your respective industries, and then we'll sort of go from there.
Yeah, age before beauty, so I'll let Adam go first.
That was harsh, Dan.
Wow. Okay. So I'm Adam Wallis. I work as a part of Neil Marston Associates. I've been doing this now in this industry for 20, 25 years. So I got into it really. I kind of fell into the industry, if I'm honest. I left school, didn't really enjoy school. Got a trade, went into bricklaying. From there, kind of fell into a damp preservation company in Ipswich, and then just kind of fell in love with it. And just from there, it just kind of snowballed. So yeah, did the preservation, did the whole putting DPCs in houses for 10, 15 years, realised that actually it wasn't really the correct thing to do, started looking into it more, became an independent, met Neil, rest is history. So yeah, that is me in a nutshell.
Cool. My name's Daniel Knight. I am a associate Regs surveyor, and I carry out primarily level 3 surveys now, but just pre-purchase surveys for people looking to buy houses. And I got into surveying. I've been surveying for myself about 3 years now, so still fairly fresh as far as careers go. But I moved back to the UK, grew up in all over the world, really. Born in South Africa, lived in England till I was 13, then lived 10 years in America, Southern California, and back here. So I can get excuses when I misspell things, because I'll just say, oh, that's how Americans spell it. And yeah.
Is it the S and the Z, yeah?
Yeah, S and Z, when Gemini and ChatGPT get it wrong, I'm like, oh, it's that. Yeah, that's what it was. And yeah, came back from Southern California, where everything is a cardboard box. Always had a love for houses and homes, and then fell in love with surveying when I attended a Sava open day looking for my future career, and I was like, oh, I could do that, and the rest is history.
Sad, spawn. Thank you both for that. So, how did you two meet then?
Just surveying
LinkedIn, I guess?
circles, really. I think it was probably LinkedIn, and I think I remember.
Oh, it's the same as us then.
Yeah, I just remember commenting on one of Dan's posts. I remember it was maybe a couple of years ago, and I remember Dan put a post on something about people were commenting on his stuff, saying what you're putting this up for, and I remember just messaging Dan and just going, just ignore the noise, don't worry about it. And I think we just kind of kept in contact from there. And now, yeah, we've got quite a few surveying mates and a little bit of a circle. So yeah, but we just got on. We just got on really well.
Yeah, and you've both started the podcast together now as well, the Roughcast.
Yeah.
I love the name, by the way.
Well, that just that was just a random conversation, wasn't it? It wasn't really anything.
Yeah, it's almost like half, I'll say, asked.
Yeah.
Like, beginning to anything. It was like, oh, is there the long-term strategy for this? Oh, we don't know. Let's just start and see what happens. And that's what we've been doing, and we've enjoyed it a lot. And it's a great excuse just to get people you want to talk to talk to you. So it's like, yeah.
Who came up with the name then?
Oh, me.
Oh, Daniel's he's so proud of that name. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So are you saying, Daniel, that you're the brains and the good looks of this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man!
I'm the sex appeal here. That's my job.
Hey, Jack, we're not recording this one to make them fall out, man. Yeah.
No, well, there's always going to be one and the other, and I don't want to say that you're not the good-looking one, but
Adam's the cute puppy. It's like mine's raw sex appeal. He's the cute puppy you want to hang out with. So yeah.
No,
I
that's
think
true.
me
I'll
and you are
take,
the
I'll
same
take
then
that,
on
Dan.
that.
Cheers, mate.
I'm throwing you a bone somewhere.
So with the podcast, which you two have both done, obviously it's hit the ground running. A lot of listeners so far. Congratulations on, is it your first 1,000 downloads, is it, or 1,000 listeners?
Yeah, I've had 1,000 listeners. Went over that yesterday, so that's after 3 episodes. I think
Brilliant.
the first 2 were good, but I think the one that really hit people was the one we did with Neil last week. Obviously, Neil's really well known in the whole industry. Damp-wise, people kind of, you say Neil Marsden, and most people in the surveying industry know who you're talking about. So yeah, I think that one was the one where people are like, we need to listen to this. And it was a really good episode, to be fair.
I think, was that on Monday? I think I listened to that one. Neil, really interesting guy. I could listen to him all day with his stories.
Neil's good with the stories, but I think most of the people who came back to it said, "Oh, do you know what a voice that man has."
Get him to read Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah, some people are gifted with good voices. To be fair, they can be good narration.
I think
And
everyone
Neil
hates the
was-
sound of their own voice, though.
Ah,
You get
that
to
is
listen to the
definitely,
podcast
yeah,
back,
100%.
I go, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, but it's like when Neil
Yeah.
does lots of training, and like Neil's got a story about everything, and like you can go one of his training days and you'll forget about what he said because he's just done so much talking and stories about things he's done and things he's seen in the damp industry. It just kind of draws you in. I think that's what makes him such a good trainer.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, Daniel, that you predominantly do level 3 surveys now. How did you find the transition from level 2 to level 3? And at what point did you feel that, right, I'm ready for this? I know that a level 3 is something I'm comfortable and content to be doing.
Well, the course I did, which was the Sava course, say that they train you to a level 2 standard. And I think the number one thing people wonder about when they're finishing that course is, how do I get to a level 3? What's the difference in level 3? And the tough part is, yes, we have the home survey standard, but speaking to, like, if you read anyone's report, it will be unique to them. So like, I've seen level 2s from people that are good enough to be doing level 3s, but they just don't feel confident to put the level 3 title on the page. And they're basically giving out the level 3s. And then I've seen level 3s that couldn't even pass for level 2. So the name of it is almost irrelevant. It's just whether you're comfortable saying that this product meets that standard. And I think you get there on a sliding scale. It's not like you don't have necessarily jump ship and go, all right, cool, I do level 3s now. It's just you do level 2s until you think your work is good enough to start calling them level 3s. But to me, it really means, like, the reason I only do level 3s is because to me, the real difference is the insight provided, and then the consultant aspect of being able to do less volume. So if I'm doing only level 3s, I can do less volume. The work's normally more interesting. Like, I get bored if I'm in a house with no problems. And then I can speak to my clients, make sure they're 100% happy. Meanwhile, if you're doing level 2s, you have to fill the diary. Everyone gets less attention. It's just not really the business model I wanted to do. But I absolutely see the purpose for them. There's just some houses that are, like I said to Adam, like, I get like inquiries from people that might find me online, but they're buying a 20-year-old semi that looks next to the way, like, absolutely fine. And the chances are there being something catastrophic in there that I have to see to be able to provide the good survey. You just might not be worth the money. But yeah.
So
It's
do
quite
you and Adam
interesting.
collaborate quite a bit with inspections? If there's something that you're not entirely sure or comfortable with, do you two talk quite a bit?
If I'm stumped, I don't think I've actually had to message Adam too much about like how I'm going to advise on a problem. It's only if I'm stumped to where there's an issue that's clearly an issue that I can't come to the conclusion without an invasive investigation. And then I just recommend him as, like, get Adam in to take a look because it's outside the scope of the service for me. and really the testing I can do and my competency. So I just go, this isn't clear, so we need to all get the real pros in to take a look.
Interesting. Adam, damn specialist. That's an interesting one. What I want to know about your role as an independent dam specialist. It's one of the most debated areas in property diagnostics. How did you get into that field, and what led you to specialize in damp investigation? Because I sometimes, as part of our role as registered building inspectors, we go on site, see the DPC, or you see a detail that, for example, maybe not we've not seen before. Where one lately that I've seen that they've carried the insulation all the way down below DPC,
Mhm.
and there wasn't any tray, there wasn't any lean mix at the bottom. That is minimum 225 below the DPC level. And I questioned all of that until they rectified it. But if I didn't see it at that stage, how would you see it? Can you talk us through the sort of investigations that you carry out? Is it intrusive?
It depends. I
How,
mean, I do both. So my surveys are generally, I mean, I do pre-purchase surveys, which obviously we all know they're non-invasive anyway. So they
yeah,
can be quite difficult. With the non-invasive pre-purchase surveys, I mean, where possible, I'll speak to the homeowners and say, look, I've got concerns about this floor. I'm not here doing this for you. I'm doing it for the people buying your house, for instance. But I said to Daniel, if you speak to the owners and go, look, we've got two ways we can do this. I can report that I've got concerns about your floor, or your subfloor, or this or that, and I can look at it now. Or I can just put in my report that I need further investigation, and I'll probably end up coming back anyway. Or you either say, well, you lose your house sale. Those ones are a little bit weird, but a lot of mine are people who own the house already. They'll ring me up and they'll say, I've got this damp issue. I need it looked at. I don't mind how invasive you are. Open up, do what you want. And for me, that's what I enjoy, because then I get to get all my tools out. I get to take out bricks. I get to lift up floors. I get to put cameras in
yeah,
walls. And
yeah,
that's what I enjoy about the job. And it's the SALT
yeah. That's
analysis.
the part you like.
Yeah. And I find myself as a bit of a detective, so to speak. So I get to, you open one bit and you might find something else, and that will lead you to something else. And it's just that looking at a house in a different way and pulling things apart that I enjoy. So Daniel, we spoke yesterday. Daniel, we say, is a GP of a survey. He looks at the whole house. We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
Daniel doesn't want to do damp, but I couldn't do what he does because I couldn't just spend the whole time looking at all the house. So yeah, that's for me.
Yeah,
That's what
you're specific. You just want to look at one specific thing, and you want to be good at that, and you
Yeah.
enjoy looking at that specific thing. Whilst Daniel is more of a generalist, goes around, looks at every inch and corner of the house, trying to figure out if there is something that a specialist could give him more insight or detail on it. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you think of one of the worst intrusive investigations? What were the findings are?
I don't know, to be fair. I mean, most intrusive inspections end up being leaks or drainage problems or something like that. I reckon 85-90% of the damp issues that I find are down to rainwater management, or their leaks under floors, or their burst drains, or just stuff like that. It's never anything massively exciting, but you still go, I found what the problem is, and you show someone, you open it up and you can see water trickling out of a drain into the subfloor void. So yeah, there's never anything, there's only so much that can go wrong with damp, isn't there?
Have you found anything unusual in subfloor voids before? Treasures?
No.
I found a lot of needles sometimes. There's a lot of needles, like
Needles?
syringes on the floorboards.
No, what needles
is it
underneath
used
the
to
floorboard?
Yeah, it's London surveying for you. That's what that is.
That's
No,
Oh,
I've never
brilliant.
found anything that exciting underneath a floor. No.
Adam, have you
thought-
found that some surveyors may use yourselves as a bit of a cop out for something where they can't be bothered trying to figure things out, and will just go, yeah, it's got damp, get a specialist when it could be something quite simple of maybe raised ground levels or a gutter leaking?
All the time. We've spoke about this on our podcast. We say, you've got really, really good surveyors and you've got the bad surveyors. You're going to get those companies and those people who will just kind of go, I've got a high meter reading on the wall, get a specialist in. And those ones, you go there. And I had one a couple of weeks ago where they're saying, there was visible damp literally at the wall floor junction. And you go in there and you go, well, I can see the internal render. There's no skirting boards. It's going right down to the floor. So why couldn't they just say, the plus is bridging the floor? This is the most obvious defect here. Why don't we address this and then we'll go on? But instead they recommended further investigation. And I don't know whether it's scared to recommend further investigate or scared to just say this is what it is, or I think there's a lot of insecurity in the surveying world at the moment about people who are just worried about getting sued and litigation and all that kind of stuff. But I do find there's a lot of stuff where you just go, you didn't need me. Like, there's no further investigation needed. You've got that. You can see it. It's right in front of your eyes. So, yeah.
Daniel, one of the themes we often discuss here on the podcast is how buildings behave in the real world versus how people expect them to behave. Obviously, older properties especially can perform very differently to modern buildings. How much of your work involves educating clients about how buildings actually function between old and new? And
A lot of it.
A lot of it, okay.
I think a lot of it is setting expectations.
Mhm.
So like we've discussed as well, is where so much of being a good surveyor is understanding your client and what their expectations are. If they are a first-time buyer with a young baby and they're moving into a Victorian terrace that has been slapped up with cement render and there's no insulation, no extractor fans,
Mhm.
then you have to kind of think, okay, is this the right property for you? Are you prepared to do all this to try reduce the issues that you're going to have with mold? Probably. But and then it's about like just looking at how many people are going to be living in this house. What is the vapor pressure going to be in this house, and how much moisture is going to be produced here? So understanding their own expectations, their own risk tolerances. Again, some houses can be absolutely fine for some people and death traps for others. I've had some people walk away from purchases due to a leak, and others buy houses that I thought were like I would never touch with a 10-foot pole. So it's up to them. But I know some surveyors are like, oh, I don't want to do level 3 just because I can't be bothered to talk about like vapor permeability to clients and try to get them to understand that they need to buy a hygrometer and try to keep relative humidity between 40 and 60% if they're going to reduce condensation. Or
buy a dehumidifier. I've got a dehumidifier in my garage.
Yeah, or buy a dehumidifier, exactly. But it's difficult. But I really enjoy the hand holding of it, especially when either I save someone from buying a house that just is not for them. A lot of the times I can get like people going through divorces or like single mothers or someone like that who see a property that's for sale and go, oh, that's within my budget. Maybe I could buy that cash with like the splits of whatever, and I don't have to worry about a mortgage. And they're just not aware that the reason that is so cheap is because there's going to be a lot of problems that you have to deal with.
Work.
So saving them is very rewarding. And then just making sure people are happy with the houses that they get and that they completely understand what it means to buy an older property. And then especially with listed buildings, explaining to people what it means to buy a listed building, that it's not just another bit of paperwork. It's like a stewardship and the headache. Whatever your plans are, if you have a lot of plans for a listed building, it's going to be a lot more headache. If it's exactly how you want it and you're not going to touch it, then it might not change that much. You might have to fix a few things that might need listed building consent. But
quite difficult as well, listed buildings consents, because my background before I joined the other side of the industry in building control, I was an architectural consultant, and I dealt with a lot of listed buildings, houses in conservation areas as well. Trying to get a loft conversion in a house in a conservation area, that is harder than getting 10-story block in a town center.
It's also specific on location because you have your own conservation officer, and depending on how they operate, it's at their discretion, really. So
Guys, your advice are quite comprehensive, though. I didn't know like you go into the details of like the windows, the how many extractor fans, the all of these, even down to listed building
well, like it all depends on the
complexities.
it all depends on the concerns of the client. Like I had a client recently where they're buying a 1930s property, solid wall with a side extension. Side extension's obviously modern construction, but they're really concerned about mold. They're like, our property has mold now. We want no mold. And when you hear that as a surveyor, you're like, I can't guarantee you're not gonna have any mold because that's kind of up to you. But what I can do is educate you the best I can to why you now understand why you have mold. You have mold in your current bathroom because you think, oh, if I just ventilate, then it will be fine. And I just need, like, the problem is I'm not ventilating enough, when the problem is that people over ventilate and underheat. So trying to explain to them, like, no, don't ventilate as much as you probably think, but you need to keep it warm, and trying to get that across helps a lot. And then with listed building, when people, like, I'll be going to a listed building survey and the vendor will tell me, oh, the outsides are listed, but the inside isn't. And I go, huh, great.
No,
Like,
if there's any
pretty sure that's not the
architectural
case.
features,
Yeah.
even sometimes the covings are listed.
Yeah. So, and I understand if maybe they have a good relationship with the control officer and they have been told that because there was like a conversion or something that this now doesn't matter. Fine, that's a specific thing. But in general, that's not what you want to hear. So explaining the risks. And like Adam says, he doesn't like being a generalist. Well, I really like being a generalist, mainly because I'm so, like, I'll hyper focus on something and then get bored of it and go need to look at something else. And then that will interest me. So I want to keep learning about everything. And there is the frustration of it, like for instances where there is like moisture to low levels, and I'm like, damn it, I can't do a salt analysis to find out what this problem is. I have to pass it to Adam. But then Adam will probably tell me later on what it actually was, at least. So that can be frustrating. But yeah, it's just helping people buy homes that I get a lot of kick out of.
No, brilliant. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, it's good having colleagues like you and Adam working together to be able to collaborate. It is very similar for building control, where we tend to be like GPs to know most of the approved documents, but to be masters of all the approved documents would be, incredibly difficult unless you've been doing it for 30, 40 years. But then you've got some certain people that will be very niche on fire safety, and then they'll know the British standards back to front as well. But that's where it's good having your sort of teams. I know you're independent, but having people that you can collaborate with to work better for the interest of the clients.
And so much of that is coming to the acceptance of the fact that it's impossible to know everything, when there's a lot of external pressure for some reason that you are only a professional if you know everything, which is completely unrealistic.
I'm sure Adam knows everything about them, though.
No, you're, after so many years, I know a fair bit, but I still learn stuff every week. But again, like what you were just saying about that, I mean, I think at the moment there always seems to be this divide between you've got damp surveyors and you've got the damp industry and then you've got the residential industry. And I don't know why, like, people don't just bridge together. And I mean, that's really what me and Daniel tried to do when we're doing this podcast, is actually, if we can get as many people from different areas around just talking and having a conversation, actually, we might all be better off for it. So yeah, I don't think there needs to be that divide between everyone. If everyone just kind of spoke and put their ideas forward, and you get ideas from this person, you get ideas from that person. I mean, I'll send Dan some stuff and just be like, Dan, what do you think of this? I did it yesterday, but yeah, I think there's a bit more conversation needed around the whole industry as a whole, not just one section or the other section.
But even just beyond the surveying industry, it's like we were talking recently about how go speak to a mortgage broker, a conveyancer, an estate agent. They know nothing about what we do. It's like, I know very little about what you guys do. So and we are technically almost the same profession. It's like,
Ask us any questions you like, Dan.
so we don't talk to them enough, and we are such a small part of the whole purchase process that we kind of come in, then go away, and they just kind of deal with what we've said. Meanwhile, we carry a lot of responsibility in that sale process. And I think because we come in and go away, people go, oh, it doesn't really matter too much. It's like, no, it really matters that you get a good surveyor. Otherwise, the whole sale could fall through for no reason, which would be an absolute waste.
Yeah, there's things in conveyancing which I don't necessarily agree with when it comes to buying houses, where if a surveyor's been there and they'll raise points that some things may not have building regulations approval, but the indemnity policy seems to be the coverall. But an indemnity policy isn't going to ensure that that's been built structurally sound or in the correct way. I can't understand how indemnity policies should just be the first thought and not, if it's within that time frame, a regularization.
Yeah, because the indemnity policy only covers against like council enforcement. It doesn't like if the roof falls down, it's like that's still your problem. Indemnity policy is going to cover that. And something I've been thinking about a lot is the whole chimney breast removal issue. It's like there's a lot of times when I've gone into a property and it doesn't have like structural steel under the chimney breast, but the person
Gallo
living there,
brackets.
yeah, gallows or steels, whatever, and they've been living there for 40 years. The chimney breast was removed 40 years ago plus, and nothing's happened. And a part of me is like, from a risk analysis perspective, I can't say it's fine. I'm not a structural engineer, and there's a lot of talk about how structural engineers like overspecify things now. Like you look at steels going into a loft conversion where they go like that could hold up the Empire State Building. And I look at it and I'm like, I have to now go back to my client and say there's like building regulation sign off for this, when like what is the real risk behind this? And it's the same argument of like, it hasn't failed in 40 years, but it could fail tomorrow. It's like, yeah, it's true, but it's something I've been mulling over. I don't have an answer for it, but it's something I'm thinking about.
Well, it's one of those, if you consider that, say, the chimney's been removed up to a certain point and it's a terraced and that's a shared stack, all it takes is for next door to go, we're going to remove our chimney. And then that disruption then could be hugely detrimental to, what imaginary structures carrying that load where the chimney's been removed up to. There's just the different little things which you never know. But I'm always very overcautious on the way I go about things because you never know. So I'll always, I think you've got to make sure that you're comfortable and confident in the decisions you make and you can justify it before just going,
absolutely.
Yeah,
but I just wonder, is there a middle ground that we refuse to go to just because it might not be like the full like 9 yards? So like, okay, like they might say, oh, well, you need to put steels in if like a engineer is ever going to sign it off. And then like some of these engineers won't approve gallows brackets now. And then they say, yeah, so you need to put steels in. It's like, that's disruptive as anything. And then the odds are someone isn't going to buy it because they got a survey. And then someone else is going to come along who just didn't get a survey and buy it anyway. And now that risk remains, that's undocumented. And then when the neighbor does remove it, it all goes horribly wrong. So I like wonder, like, is there not a middle ground, a better design for gallows brackets, whatever it might be, that we can actually be realistic and say, this is something you can do without opening up a wall to slide steels in. But yeah.
Interesting. Can we go back to your podcast, Roughcast? Like I said, I really like the name. To be fair,
don't tell him that.
My head's not big enough.
It's
It's
going to
okay.
expect us to pop champagne or something
Adam,
like that.
I can see his head growing already. No, it's just obviously in the whole construction industry, the built environment, there's obviously clearly a growing appetite for open conversations. And there's not many podcasts out there. What was the motivation behind starting it?
I think culture, like I talk about it like with culturally, I think we're overall as a society coming out of like cancel culture. And I think that it's the right time. I thought it was the right time to like say, okay, I want to be a voice to say like, we're pushing past this. We're having more open and honest discussions in the profession. No one can cancel us. We're going to say what we want to say. I think the only person that could cancel me is the RCS if they really want to. But no one, like if you want to get mad at me on LinkedIn, go for it. but it's important
We
now.
support you. We're not getting.
But I was also giving
we support
like,
both of you.
a lot of my motivation was also the fact that there's been a lot of turmoil in the residential surveying sector with the home survey standard and the talk about seller surveys, that I wanted to give the guys who aren't as active on social media an hour with a hopefully large platform to just say what they think and make sure that they're heard. So that's something me and Adam have talked about recently, where we want to have those CPD like discussions with very influential people in the industry like Neil. But we also want to just have our friends on, or people who just graduated, and all these people, just to hear their stories, what they're dealing with, and get a well-rounded perspective of the profession.
I think
Adam,
what's
what's
been
was
quite
the
refreshing
motivation?
is that we've had loads of like student surveyors that have kind of messaged just on LinkedIn and stuff like that, and just said, "I'm glad it's not just me." Like we all go through kind of our struggles, and we've all got our own independent companies and all working our asses off, and people just think that it's just them. And actually, I think it's people hearing us speak about actually we're having the same kind of issues. They're kind of really benefiting from that. And the other reason I did it is because Daniel made me.
Did he push you?
I remember being quite the
Well, he
opposite.
pushed you into it.
No, it's
Really?
been good. I'd say I don't really. We weren't really sure what would happen with it. It was just a passing idea, a quick chat. Okay, well, let's do it. We'll do it Friday. We'll have someone on, and we'll see what happens. And it's worked out all right.
Who are your future guests that you've got lined up? Is there anyone?
Wouldn't you
in
like
it,
to know,
or-
Weather Boy? No way. We're not telling you.
That's
No,
a
but I
cheeky
think
question, Jack.
we want to touch everything. We want to touch heritage, go over damp, go over structure, go over, I'm sure we'll have you guys on at some point. And just,
Like agents.
yeah, estate agents, so we can get that outreach. And
Was that an informal invitation then?
yes,
Yes.
that was a formal
okay.
invitation. We'll get you
was
both.
it a formal one?
Yeah. But just, it's bringing everything together to where hopefully communication improves, and then we don't have the issues that we've seen in the past.
Yeah,
This episode is sponsored by Plan Checker. Across building control and the wider construction sector, one issue keeps coming up: capacity. The work is there, the responsibility is huge, and the pressure keeps increasing. Plan Checker was built to help bridge that gap by making it easier to access independent, appropriately qualified professionals when support is genuinely needed. Whether that's for plan reviews, consultancy input, or specialist advice. It doesn't change statutory responsibility, and it doesn't interfere with regulatory rules. It simply helps people find expertise without relying on informal networks or last-minute phone calls. If you want to see how that works in practice, visit planchecker.co.uk.
Everyone is all working together for the right reason. It is just talking and understanding what everybody actually does within the mix, to then respect that we're all doing it for that purpose. We're not trying to be awkward for that person or awkward for this person. Everybody wants the same outcome, that people are going to be able to buy a house that they want. There's not going to be damp, or if there is damp, they know what the problems is. Collaboration, that seems to fall away from a lot of industries. Building control, collaboration seems to fall away. But like with yourselves, what you guys are doing is going to be really, really good for the industry as a whole.
Thank you.
No, I think, collaboration is the most commonly used word, and I think the meaning has it's lost its meaning somehow. Because everyone is throwing that word around, but if you go on the ground and see, is there actually as much? Obviously, there is collaboration, but is there enough to bring us all together? Is there enough that we can say we're a connected industry? That is the main thing. It's just we need to use that word and use its meaning combined together, not just throw the word around, because that's the case at the moment. But
the first step of that is admitting you don't know something, which so many people just
Absolutely.
refuse to do. And it's like, why? It's
Yeah.
like, it's impossible to I think a lot of it comes from like I relate it back to like working out, right? Where people want to go to the gym, so they say, okay, I'm going to start going to the gym, I'm going to start eating really healthy. And then they mess up one day and then they beat themselves up, calling themselves like undisciplined, whatever it may be. But they would actually be a lot more successful if they were just more forgiving to themselves. If they were just like, oh, you had a bad day, or oh, you got something wrong in the profession, get back on the horse the next day, then we would all be better off for it. But the fact that people think that like one mistake or admitting that they were wrong once publicly is like shameful embarrassment, people will throw like tomatoes at you in the street, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Can we
March
move,
down the street and shout shame.
Yeah. But I want to know more about what you guys do, because I know next to nothing. So the parallels between you and us and the differences.
Jack, do you want to take the lead on that? Because you done residential surveying before, so
So
you can
the
say
difference
how
is
it's different.
well, obviously you guys are seeing everything as built. We're getting the opportunity to see from the ground all the way to completion. The misconception that a lot of people do seem to have, though, is that we are there for every single screw or piece of timber being put up. We're going to
Absolutely
be
not.
out at certain stages. So, like, we'll only see maybe the excavations, or we'll maybe see the oversight, or we'll see a pre-plaster with all structural elements together, and then we can go out at completion. It will depend from different organizations where you work, what level of inspections you do. But you can be on site for maybe 20 minutes to an hour, looking at different aspects. So in a full project, you may only be there for maybe 4 or 5 hours. You may plan check that project, which may be from an hour to 3 hours, depending on how complex. That's not a lot of time for someone being on a project for to, make sure everything's done correctly. So we only get these certain bits of opportunity to see things.
It's exactly the same as you guys, the same as you, Dan and Adam. You go do your residential survey. How long does it take? Or Adam goes and does his damp investigation. How long does any of your visit last? Adam, how long does your visit for
On
a
average.
non-intrusive?
On average, on a general pre-purchase survey, I allow anywhere between 3 and 4 hours. If I'm going to
Okay.
look at one specific thing, you sometimes can walk in there and go, well, this is really obvious. I know what this is. And you can find out what the issues are. Hour and a half, you've taken up some floorboards, you've looked at the drains, you've done something. So it varies, but I allow 4 hours for a survey. That's my window. If it takes a bit longer, it takes a bit longer. And that's just what it
And
is. But yeah, no, I allow 4 hours.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same for me. Like some might take me. It's funny because there's like a certain minimum. So it's like 2.5 is basically the minimum. Like if I'm doing a flat or if I'm doing it always seems to somehow take me 2.5. Like I just don't really feel comfortable leaving until I've been there that long in a way. But on the high side, it can be 4.5 plus, but that can get ridiculous at some points. It's normally when there's like outbuildings and things like that where things get really long and you basically feel like you're doing more than one survey. But
And
yeah,
I'm sure on your reports as well, you have a clause or something to say that obviously you've not seen everything as well.
that's the biggest kind of misconception, and that's something I talk about a lot in residential surveying, is how many less complaints would we get if people actually understood what it is they were paying for. Because so many people think that like this is just a step that you should do because they might bring up something massive, but there are so many things we can't see, and then those things or comment on, like services, like we aren't gas safe engineers, we aren't electricians. There's only so much we can say, and if you don't set those expectations, then people can get upset. And
It's exactly the same as me and Jack. We don't see everything. The misconception that Jack spoke about is that people think that they actually believe that we are project managers and clerk of works all at the same time. The definition of building control to the general public is that we control the building. You see, it's like a literal definition. You're building control. You know, it was always like this. You have a conversation with a client, but you're building control. You should have seen it. No, I shouldn't have seen it because I'm not there every single day. I'm not your builder on site. I don't know how your builder fitted this beam or that if I haven't seen it.
Mm.
So we owned it. We say to people now, and this also is part of the industry educating the general public and the clients, is that we can only make comments and observations on things that we can see at the time that we're there. How can you guarantee something that you've not seen and you were not there? And I think that's the same with you guys. So
Yeah.
our roles are pretty much the same in terms of its function or how we see things, but with different titles.
No, you can. I mean, like you say, we can analyze risks and things that we can visually see on the outside. If we see this as a problem, we see this as a problem. But you can never, if you can't see, you can never 100% guarantee what you're saying. You can just put forward in the thing, I've seen this. This is going to cause a potential issue because of this and X, Y, and Z. However, we can't physically see it, so we can't comment on exactly what the problem might be or might not be at this time. So
The
how
same
did you,
thing
so
for-
Jack, you said
Go on.
you were a residential surveyor before and then you moved into this?
So what happened was I started on the Saba course. I
Hmm.
think it was in May 2022.
Couldn't hack it.
No. What happened was I was doing the course, but I got a CABE email because they told us to sign up to all the student memberships for everywhere. I got a CABE email about jobs market and LABC were looking at trainees. I thought building control, residential surveying could all fit in as one. So I can do my Sava in the evenings and, learn building controls throughout the day job. So I've got me level 6 Sava, but I solely stuck with surveying because I wasn't too interested in valuations. I didn't really see that as what I'd be looking at doing in the future. But yeah, I've got my ass on Regs. I've been practicing residential surveying. No, but I still try and do CPD relevant to residential surveying, so I'm not too far away. But predominantly, building control I've just stuck within that industry. I think once you get into building control, you kind of fall in, but you can never really get out. You just sort of stick with it.
Yeah,
Are you enjoying it at least if you're in the well you can't get out of?
I like it. The purpose of building control, which again is very similar to residential surveying for yourself, and also for Adam as well, is keeping people safe in and around buildings.
I was waiting for that one, Jack. I was waiting for that one.
Which is, Adam, you're doing that with damp. Obviously, damp can cause very detrimental effects to people's health. Dan, you're obviously making sure people are buying buildings which they're going to be able to live in. So, as a whole, for our industries, the intertwine for keeping people safe in and around buildings, we just do it in slightly different ways. So I enjoy it, yeah. A very long way of saying yes, I enjoy it.
So you wouldn't ever see yourself stepping away from what you were doing? I mean, I've had this conversation with Dan. I don't think there will ever be a time where I don't do this job. Ever.
Okay. Do you like it that much, Adam?
I love it. I don't feel like I work.
You got a buzz out of it, though.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to find on a day-to-day basis. Like you can do
It's the
burst
same with
surveys
us.
and they're like really, really boring and stuff like that. But when you get to a house, you're like, oh, I don't know what this is. I really have to get into the nitty-gritty of it. I love the job. I've always loved it. I love buildings. I love the whole buildings pathology of it. I like the older buildings a little bit more. But yeah, I don't think there's anything I'll do other than this.
Dan, are you stuck as well? Are you staying as a surveyor, or is there anything else on the
My
cards?
OnlyFans is doing quite well, so I've got a bit of side income from that. If that really takes off, I'll probably go do that.
Is that your side
full-time.
hustle?
Yeah, for now.
I'm gonna have to renew my subscription. Sorry.
Weirdly,
Yeah, I was watching
that's called Roughcast as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love. Well, it's funny because when I talk to people in the surveying world that are a lot more like business minded,
Hmm.
everyone's like scale and exit, scale and exit. And in my head, I'm like, I'm 28. It's like, I'm not really thinking about scaling and exiting. I'm thinking, how do I do this for 40 years without blowing up the ship to where I'm like shunned out of the profession? And as well, like with the whole discussion around like becoming chartered, I was having this discussion recently where they're like, well, why don't you want to become chartered? And I was like, well, for what I'm doing in residential, I'm enjoying it a lot. And maybe if it wasn't for all this content stuff that I'm doing, that I'm trying to like educate as many people as I can, I probably would be looking at becoming chartered to be able to move on to different types and be able to introduce more types of work. But right now, I'm happy doing that. My kind of goal now is try reach as many people as I can because I get a massive kick out of that when I get like a video that does well. And I'm like, cool, I've now informed however many thousands of people that didn't know about this thing. They now know about this thing. And they might forget about it in a week, but it might pop up down the line when they're buying a house and go, hey, I remember seeing this one thing one time, and it might save someone a big headache. So I'm going to keep doing that, do some more long form content this year when the sun comes out eventually, and yeah, see what happens. But my goal as well is like, I'm kind of thinking in decades. I'm not really thinking about this year, next year. I'm thinking if I do this if I try make content for 10 years, I'm sure at the end of 10 years, I'll have something to show for it. Hopefully.
Consistency, Dan.
Exactly.
Consistency. That's it.
What about you
both on
guys? What about
TikTok,
you?
aren't you?
Yeah, we both are. Adam's not posted in a while, I think.
No, that's not true. I posted yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah. The thing is,
see it.
I mean, I like doing like video. I do walkthrough videos on TikTok. That's what I do. If I find something interesting, I'll do a walkthrough of that house, talk over it. This is what I found. This is what it needs doing, and those videos work really, really well. But
Yeah.
you don't get the opportunity to do them very often. So if you're
They
doing a
are hard
pre-purchase
work.
one, I can take pictures of drains. And I go, look, we've got a cracked drain here. I think that's causing the issue here. We'll lift up a floorboard. But say it's only with those damp investigation surveys that you can be evasive. So you're just walking around a pre-purchase survey going, look, I've got high meter readings here, but there's no signs of damp. So let's not worry about it. So yeah, for me, it's very restricted on what I can put out as content. Whereas Dan will literally put a video out on every single day and spend 3 hours making a TikTok video.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't understand how much goes into that content. It's not easy to.
It takes ages.
The 60, 90 seconds or even 2 minutes that people see. I do videos as well. I think maybe you guys have seen it on LinkedIn. And those few seconds are it takes. There are hours behind them from the script, the recording, and it's not always on the first take. Could be second take, third take, fourth take, then editing that take, caption it, putting things together, putting it out. It takes hours behind. It takes hours, and people don't realize that. They think, oh, we're making content. Oh, you're chucking out these videos every week, and I'm like, yeah, it takes a lot of time. I spend sometimes the whole evening doing. I spend a whole weekend doing separate videos, and you have to not as organized as Dan and got my own setup in the back. So I tried to.
I don't know how Dan does it. He's got directors, multiple cameramen. He's got tea girls and tea boys running around, bringing him drinks, fanning him in the corner.
I choose different corners around the house. That's it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
But I think so much of it as well is just trying to get better at it. It's a skill.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like 2 years into the journey of it, when the first year and a bit was just like very sporadic. But I think that like you don't realize how much of a skill it is until you start doing it consistently. And you're like, oh, this one worked, this one didn't. It's not as simple as just pull out a phone, start recording and post. It's like you have to understand a hook. You have to understand retention. You have to understand
call to action,
opening loops and closing loops and all these different things to keep people interested. And if you just sit there in front of a camera and start talking about rising damp, no one's going to watch it, which is difficult. And it's like the whole thing of like volume and like do a lot of videos. It's like, that's just to get the idea of what works and what doesn't. And until you see that for yourself, you're not going to figure it out. Like I went from having like, I think I posted like 40 videos in a row that my average views were like 1,500. And I just had to keep posting. And then like looking back on them now, I'm like, yeah, no wonder they didn't do well. Like, this is boring. But now I can get like the odd, really good one. And
Yeah.
I understand what holds attention. And it's just a skill, but it's difficult to get. And just like anything, you have to put in the reps, and then like a lot of people will think, oh, like, why would I waste time doing social media when I can just pay for eyeballs? And it's like, but paying for eyeballs on the wrong thing won't convert. So it's all these
Absolutely.
different things.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely correct there. Yeah.
Do you
It's a
get
lot
an
of time.
income from your TikToks, either of you? Or do you have
No.
to have like mega
Not directly,
viewers?
no. I think social media, you have to have. There's the whole point is to grow an audience to then monetize that audience in another way.
Yeah.
Obviously, for me, it's selling my surveys. But for a lot of people, depending on what you're doing, you need to be able to push those people places to what you're actually selling. I don't know anyone that actually makes decent, like even like I know some people like millions of followers and they aren't making money on these social media apps. They need to have a product or a service that they're pushing people to, where they're actually charging them.
I mean, that's the only the only way you really are making money from doing the TikTok videos and all the content is, which I didn't expect, was how many survey inquiries you get from people that watched your videos. So like before, we used to come from like your Google and your website and stuff like that. But now I get people messaging me and they're going, "Oh, I've seen your video. I really like what you do. What do you do? Where are you? What do you cover?" So from that aspect, yeah, it's worth doing. But it's just again keeping on top of it and just trying to get that content out there. So one day I'll
But
be
the
as
other
good as
thing,
Dan.
but the other thing I talk about, which is like why I also really like doing content, is just the quality of clients you get from content. It's
Yeah.
one, they've done the homework. They've been doing the homework to try to find someone good. So they're normally not that like super price sensitive person. They understand getting someone good is worth money. And if they watch your content and you have enough content out there, they might watch an hour interview you did and give you a call and say like, and it's like your best friends. And it's like, they know everything about you now. They've had the chance to like build that rapport on their time, not yours, and go, yeah, I'm happy for you to do this. Let's just proceed. Instead of asking you all the questions that they don't understand the difference between a level 2 and a level 3. And why is this firm 50% cheaper than me? And will I be using will I be using a drone? They know all this already and they're ready to go. And it's amazing when it happens. And then especially when you get the client that calls you and goes, I don't really care what you charge. I want you to do it. Invoice me. And you're like, wow, okay. Like have that happen to you a couple of times and you'll put a lot more time into content.
because you've built your credibility and you've built that trust with that content. That's the whole point of it. I think that the value of the content, in my opinion, the value of it is not just money. It's not monetizing. The value of it is building trust and credibility for you, because you are representative of the services that you provide. And if people don't relate to you, don't see any credibility in you, don't trust you as a person, how can they hire you for a service?
And that's the
That's the
thing. It's
whole.
like,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people in our profession that have entrenched themselves in certain opinions to where they've been saying one thing for so long, they can't come out the other side and go, actually, I was wrong about this. And like me and Jack have talked about it. Like I did a Japanese knotweed video that was a bit too inflammatory. And then I put it on private and I made another one going, that was a bit over the top. Let's dial it back a little, because it blew up. And I was like, actually, I'm not crazy about how I said that. I actually had an article written about it. And I was like, that's a bit not right. But hold my hands up. That wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. Let's try that again. And I think that that's what I think builds trust as well. When people go, hey, they're human. They're doing the best they can. But they might not be right all the time, but I can trust them to tell me exactly what they believe is correct. When, as with anyone, they'll make mistakes.
Yeah,
They
it's
can't knock a
owning up
tire.
to it and taking what you did with that video. You know, you basically made it right. Well, most people just have let it wash over, but going out there and saying, yeah, I don't think it was quite right on that, that's more important to people than just pretend it never happened. And I'd be more inclined to use someone that will hold the hand up and say when they've got it wrong. It's, it's integrity, and that is integrity.
Yeah, agreed. Look, no one's going to get it. No one's going to get anything right first time every single time, are they? So
No,
you
absolutely
learn
impossible.
from you make mistakes. We all make mistakes in kind of what we do and stuff like that. But as you learn from them, and then hopefully you won't do that same thing again. So yeah, I don't believe that anyone will ever go around in life just not doing something wrong.
And that's the thing. Like, we all learn something from someone else, and
Definitely.
you're assuming that person's correct. It's like there's been a few times in my like career where someone's of good reputation has told me something, and I was like, oh, that's good to know. And then I go down the line and I speak to like 3 other people, and they're like, that's not true. And I go, oh, like,
Oh,
geez,
thanks.
okay, like, let's correct that. But it's like you only learn that through experience. And like I've poo-pooed experience a lot in my life just because I've normally been the young person at the table, and it's been annoying when people kind of look down on me because I lack experience or time in the industry. But it is important because you get that understanding of so many different things that you just wouldn't have had without that time investment. And I'm sure there'll be tons of things that I'll learn in the future that I'll look back on videos and podcasts that I've done in the past and go, ooh, that wasn't that great. And like I still look back on like one of the first podcasts I did, and sometimes I'll watch it back a little bit just to go like, do I still agree with everything I said in here? And I'm like, not really, but it's still holding up kind of. But I'm sure in like 10 years, I'll look back on probably my reports, probably on what my opinions were, and go, God, I was an idiot back then. But live and learn.
I think that it's ancient now. That people would say that someone is not experienced or knowledgeable just because of the age. I think age is irrelevant now. It's the knowledge that you carry, it's the experiences that you've been through that makes you good at what you do.
Is
It's
it
not
a
about how many.
misconception that just being
It-
old means you're good
Not
at
about
something?
how many years you've been in the industry. Someone could be in the industry for 30 years. No offense to anyone being in the industry for 30 years, but
All the offense to everyone. Okay.
no, but I think that is not true anymore. What's true is that how knowledgeable you are, the experiences that you've gone through, what you've gathered through those experiences, failing, getting things wrong, and
That's
then
like there's a lot of there's a lot of friction in like the RICS between like chartered members and non-chartered members, because chartered members look at non-chartered members providing the same service and go, why do I have to pay more fees for these people to be doing the exact same thing as me, or it's too easy for these people to get into the profession. And then you have non-chartered members going, all these chartered members constantly talk down to me. I don't feel like I'm welcomed in this profession at all because everyone talks down to me. I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm doing. So I think something has to be done about it. But I don't know what.
Yeah.
But
You're like
it's the same thing.
I
Go
think
ahead.
you're a perfect example of that, though, because like you're saying, you've got someone who's been in the industry for 30 odd years, and actually, after that amount of time, have they just got like a little bit bored and have they got complacent and they haven't really changed the way they're doing things from what they were doing 20 years ago and haven't really moved? But then you've got someone like Dan, who's younger, who's just, I don't know anyone who researches anything as much as what Dan does. Like he's
he's
constantly
very passionate.
learning, and he is passionate about what he does. So,
Yeah.
you know, he keeps it going. So actually, Dan's probably got as much knowledge as some of these people that have done it 10, 15 years, because he's just hungry to learn every little detail about what he's doing. So, yeah, it's like the age.
His head's got
Dan, you
got a
can-
bit bigger.
Dan,
God, I'm gonna have a strut to me after this.
I know.
Walking down the street, like chin high. Yeah.
You can pay me later. But it's true. Like, you do get those people that have just done it for so long, they don't change the way they do things, they don't kind of move on with the times, and they're just stuck in a rut. But then you've got people coming up who just are hungry to learn so much more and research and do things. So, yeah, I don't think.
Well, I had a situation where I posted on LinkedIn talking about how important it is that we embrace technology and that surveyors use like software and like have annotated photos and all these things. Because like we talk about it as well, where like looking at it, like trying to read a report without any pictures. I don't know how you guys write your reports, but trying to read reports without pictures
With pictures.
is difficult. Like as a professional reading a report, trying to comprehend what someone's trying to tell you without pictures is hard. So I made a post about that. And I had an older surveyor just tear me to shreds in the comments. Just like, what do you know? You've only been doing like, you don't know everything. Well, like, and then I was like, whoa, okay, block that person for obvious reasons. And then a couple of weeks later, they're like, so I'm looking at improving my the software I'm using. Can anyone advise? And I was like, that was just so unnecessary. It's like that like comment came out of a place of just like their ego got involved. Like, who is this kid telling me that like I don't know what I'm doing because I don't use software? And it's like, like I would have been able to help you there if you just came to me and said, "Oh, I don't actually use software. Can we talk about it?"
I hear you, Daniel.
yeah.
I hear you. I hear you.
It's
just
weird.
a lot. Yeah.
Really weird.
Why do people get offended by other people trying to make things better? Is it because they've not thought of putting those things forward themselves, or has that happened to them before when they were first coming in? They thought of something and someone from higher up has slapped them down and like, no, stay in your lane.
I think it's a bit of insecurity that they've been doing. Like, you can't admit you've been doing it wrong for so long. Or you could
Not
be doing it
necessarily
better.
wrong, Daniel.
Yeah, not necessarily wrong, but you could be doing
may
it
not be
better.
not necessarily wrong, but there's an analogy. For example, like I like to use that analogy. Old cars, when they first came out, they had wooden wheels, and they used to take you from A to B on the wooden wheels. They were perfect, brilliant, and everyone used them. People may still have these cars with wooden wheels today, but you wouldn't be able to get on one of them and drive down the M25 because you'll be blown away. So that is the same point to that. Yes, older or traditional ways in the past, they did work and they were brilliant at the time. But you can't keep driving that car with the wooden wheel down the modern motorways. And things has to move. And at some point, that car has to become an antique and stays in your precious garage or a museum. And then something else will.
Yeah,
will,
I think there's just
will
always
take
a
over.
resistance to change.
Absolutely, but
that's
it does happen.
Yeah.
Does happen. But like you said, you'll have resistance. Adam will.
What are
Jack
your
will.
guys' thoughts on like AI in your profession? Is it helping? Not?
It's dangerous because a lot of I've had recently specifications come through for a project where they'd not sent any sort of detail, and I asked for further information, and within 5 minutes a full specification list came through, and it's outdated British standards. It's referencing things which have no relevance at all, like Regulation 38, which wouldn't be on a domestic extension. That just
Oh, that
wouldn't.
was completely wrong. You've
And
not
you're just
shared that with
thinking,
me.
Yeah, I know everything about Regulation 38. Yeah.
Absolutely.
it's
I
just
think-
one
I
of them.
think-
It's an easy giveaway of you've
Yeah.
not done this. You've basically
Right.
gone to ChatGPT and said, I'm doing an
AI
extension. What do I need for building control? And it's, you can tell pretty much immediately, but it's going back and saying, really? Like, there's no, I still have to plan check it
Yeah.
as much as I can, but it's just, again, asking for further information, which they'll likely go back to ChatGPT for.
I think AI, in my opinion, personally, not expressing anyone's else opinion, and I always say that to people, AI is the perfect assistant, not a replacement to anyone. It will only be a replacement if you allow it to be your replacement. If you use it as an assistant, if you use it to access the services or that were not available to the normal users before, like for example, CEOs or political figures, they have professional writers in the past to script their speeches. AI does that. But this was happening before. You have to pay someone, and that was only accessible to people in these positions. Now that is accessible to people in the pub. But that has to stay as an assistant. It has to stay as an assistant for the work that you as a human produces, for you as a human observes, for you as a human analyze. And then they can polish that. You can use the model to polish this, but it's still your thoughts, it's still your content, it's still your thinking.
Absolutely.
But it's polished. And this polishing is like the people, you can hire a copywriter.
Well, that's the thing. So, like, I think that, well, first point, there's so much difference in the different AI models that, like, even Gemini, like I use Gemini now, and the difference between Gemini Fast, Gemini Thinking, and Gemini Pro, it's like, I wouldn't let Gemini Fast near a report, like, ever. Yeah. It's like, go away. Like, you're just ruining things. But Gemini Pro has been very helpful. And like the way
Claude
I
is
use
good.
AI is I dictate everything. Like I can't like really like I'm
Same.
horribly illiterate in that sense where I
Yeah.
can't just type my thoughts. I have to literally like when I
Dictate.
write reports, I literally sit back with my eyes closed and talk and think
Yeah.
about the thing that I was looking at on site with my notes or pictures that remind me of it, and what I want to say about it. And then I can take that, put that in an AI, and it can help me produce that report section. I can proofread that section and go, cool, next section. And I love that because now every report I write is extremely bespoke. Meanwhile, previously, a lot of reports and a lot of reports I read, they have the standard paragraphs where you get halfway through a paragraph and you're just like, this is just like waffle. Like, what does this have to do with this house? And what does this have to do with this risk or this defect? So, like you said, absolutely, AI is a great tool. As soon as you start asking it to make the decisions, then you're getting into dangerous territory.
That's when you cross that line between an assistant and a replacement.
Yeah.
Don't ask it for its opinion. Never. Adam,
I just agree with you. I'm the best TikToker you can in the world, according to my Gemini. Every TikTok I make is going to be the next viral sensation, and yet it flops.
Is Adam your Gemini?
Sorry?
Is Adam your Gemini telling you you're the best TikToker?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's my groupie.
Adam, do you use AI?
In a very similar way to Daniel. Yeah, I can't get. I use an app called Whisperflow, and same as Daniel, I dictate my site notes. I can't get what I want to say. I know what I want to say, and I have a conversation with someone about Dan, but getting it from my brain to my keyboard through my hands, I very much struggle with. So for me, AI it's helped me. As you say, it's an assistant. Hasn't started it's not writing my reports for me because they're my thoughts, but it's certainly helped me definitely produce reports better. So yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it?
That's the way to be. That's for me. That's the way that it can be utilized. These kind of assisting in processes and copyright and things like that were very difficult to access in the past because they were all things that you have to hire someone to do them for you. And now you get that with a £20 a month payment. Whether it's Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, all the other. I think I prefer Claude, to be fair. It's quite
Claude seems to be becoming a lot more popular. Like I've seen a few people saying that the reasoning behind Claude is so much better.
Yeah, Claude is much better.
I left ChatGPT for Gemini just because I figured that AI would start connecting into all these different aspects of your life. And I thought I want to be using the AI that connects to Gmail and my calendar and all these things. So that's all like connected.
I don't connect to anything. I wouldn't connect it to anything. And yeah, I treat it with my own GDPR policy. So yeah, right, brilliant guys. It's been a great having you both and hearing about your experiences and the work you're doing with both your professional services as well as your Roughcast. Again, I like the name. But yeah, so for anyone listening who wants to follow your work or check out the podcast, can you just both tell us where people can find you? Daniel, tell us about your independent business as well. Adam, as well, how people can find you and use your services. Just
yeah. So I say I'm part of Neil Marsden Associates, so you can find me on the website there. Got TikTok, which is called It's Not Rising Damp, and then I'm obviously on LinkedIn as well. You'll see me on there. That's probably where I'm most seen anywhere else.
And which parts of England you cover mostly?
I'm based in East Anglia, so I'll do most of East Anglia. I'll venture into London if I'm feeling brave, but I'll avoid it where possible.
Yeah, me too. Daniel?
You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for @Dan the Surveyor Man. And my business is Homescan Surveyors. And then LinkedIn is my name, Daniel Knight.
Brilliant. And which you said London before, yeah?
Pretty much London, almost all of London. I pretty much try to cover, at most I'll drive 2 hours max, but depends on the fee, really.
Brilliant. Jack, last words?
last words. We've got the next episode of Roughcast coming out on Sunday. Can we have a brief insight of what that might look like, or do we have to wait?
Teaser. Do you don't do teasers,
To be
guys?
Get
fair,
Joe Rogan on.
we this week, me and Dan did it yesterday. We just had a chat. We had a chat about Neil last week, and it was a little bit more relaxed. Yeah, we found last week was probably not intensive, but it was a little bit more. It was people listening to it probably thought it was quite more serious than what we normally do. So we just decided that we'd strip it back, have a chat, just me and Dan. And we just had a laugh. So yeah,
Because that's like I was saying earlier, we want to help people learn things and open up the profession, but we also want to keep things very informal. And I feel like if we start stacking the podcast with like the most interesting people we can get, we'll start setting the bar and raising the atmosphere too high. When like, yes, we'll have very interesting people, but we also want to just be kind of background noise for surveyors in the car as well.
Be honest, was this one too formal or 50-50?
This one will get us cancelled. So,
That's what we're hoping for.
well,
That's
we'll
exactly the
certainly
reason
see.
why we invited you.
We'll certainly see you two guys on it in a few weeks.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you
No,
for your
thank you.
time.
Thank you. Great
Thank
fun.
you for the conversation. It's been absolutely great, and good luck with everything that you're doing, whether it's personally and professionally. And see you.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
guys.
much.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers. Ciao.
This episode of Behind the Regs is sponsored by Plan Checker. Plan Checker is a UK-based digital platform designed to connect clients with verified building control and construction professionals, making it easier to find the right expertise at the right time for the right job. It doesn't replace building control bodies, and it doesn't carry out restricted activities or functions. It simply creates clearer, more transparent access to the professionals working across the industry. If you're a professional, a client, or part of the wider built environment sector, you can learn more or sign up at planchecker.co.uk.